Book 2, the Book of the Traveler of the Worlds, Canto 6, the Kingdoms and Godheads of the Greater Life. And we are on page 173, beginning with the line, "A charm drew near." So we have seen previously in this plane of existence where there is a hope of self to live, to even take a form and to leave permission to live, and even the birth of that which never yet could be, even the joy of the mind's hazard and the heart's choice and the grace of the unknown and the hands of sudden surprise, and even a touch of sure delight in unsure things. Now he comes to this strange, uncertain tract where consciousness is playing with unconscious self, and birth was an attempt or episode.
A charm drew near that could not keep its spell, an eager power that could not find its way, a chance that chose a strange arithmetic, but could not bind with it the forms it made, a multitude that could not guard its sum, which less than zero grew, and more than one.
I'm not quite hearing the consonants very well, especially the last two lines, but anyway, work on that. A charm drew near. So it is an important thing. It's a charm that drew near. And what did it do? Well, it couldn't keep its spell. You know, charm has a spell, doesn't it?
Yes.
What charm drew near that could not keep its spell. It's even an eager power. Power is applied to a conscious power. It's an eager power here, but that power could not find its way. And there's even a chance that chose a very strange arithmetic, but it could not bind with it the forms it made. So it's like chance that this is happening. They want this. These beings want to take a form. They want to live. They want to exist, and their birth is an attempt only, or it's just an episode. And then we see that this charm draws near, this eager power and this strange arithmetic of chance that could not bind with the forms it made. It's like a multitude that could not guard its sum, which less than zero grew, and more than one. So we have a multitude here that's unable to guard its totality. And that totality is less than zero, but it's more than one. And now we go to the next page.
But it says which less than zero grew.
Yeah, it grew less than zero. Its growth was even less than zero.
But then it's more than one also.
More than one. So again, we seem to be experiencing paradox in Sri Aurobindo's line. How can something grow less than zero and then be more than one? It's paradoxical. But Sri Aurobindo does this always to us so we can expand our consciousness and truly open to these higher
laws,
comprehensions. And when we can do that, then eventually, if it enters the heart or the head, we understand without the use of the mind. Okay.
Like there's also that concept of when you're nothing, you're everything. Like when you're truly nothing, you are everything.
Well, that is true because we're all divine.
Mm.
But in this case, in this plane of existence, I would not agree with that
Okay.
because there's an attempt here.
Okay.
It's an attempt, and it's something. Well, we'll find out more now. Arriving. Oh, by the way, I have to stop short at 5 minutes till from now on because it's been too difficult for me
Mm.
to overlapping with people. So good. Okay. Arriving.
Arriving at a large and shadowy sense that cared not to define its fleeting drift, life labored in a strange and mythic air, denuded of her sweet, magnificent suns.
So we see that there is this large and shadowy sense that life arrives at. And that doesn't care to define this drift, this fleeting movement or force, this impulse, this impetus. And therefore, life is laboring in a kind of strange and mythic air, imaginary, fictitious air. Denuded, that means stripped of everything, but especially of her sweet, magnificent sons. Sun is the symbol of the divine. Savitri is the daughter of the sun. So we'll continue on now and see what else happens here in this world.
In worlds imagined, never yet made true, a lingering glimmer on creation's verge, once strayed and dreamed and never stopped to achieve. To achieve would have destroyed that magic space.
So now we're seeing that there's not so much of an spiritual intent to achieve. So these are imagined worlds, and they're never yet made true. They are a lingering glimmer on the verge of creation. And in that verge, one strayed and dreamed and never stopped to achieve. Colon after achieve, because he wants us to understand this next line. To achieve would have destroyed that magic space. Of course, he says there is no magic, but here he uses the word magic so we can understand that something can seem magical. Okay, now we'll continue on. But because he's really giving us a vision of this plane of existence so clear.
Like when Sri Aurobindo says there is no magic, does he mean that when it is beyond our comprehension, we call it magical? But the moment we come to the truth of it, then we understand what is what and it reveals itself.
That is true. What you say is true. But he uses magical in a sense to make us feel that it's something very, very special. All's magic here and can by magic change, you see. So everything is, the whole world is a magical world in that wonderful sense of the term magic. So we'll carry on now.
The marvels of a twilight wonderland, full of a beauty strangely, vainly made, a surge of fanciful realities, dim tokens of a splendor sealed above, awoke the passion of the eye's desire, compelled belief on the enamored thought, and drew the heart, but led it to no goal.
Ah, so it's interesting. What a strange plane of existence. Marvels of a twilight wonderland. You see, it's not a place filled with the sun. It's only a twilight wonderland. It's certainly full of a strange beauty, but it's vainly made. Vainly, of course, is, without true substance. A surge of fanciful realities, even dim tokens. See, you see twilight, vainly, dim tokens of a splendor. A splendor, of course, is a great light, a brilliance, something that outshines the usual. It's a magnificent appearance. So it's only in this plane of existence there are only dim tokens of a splendor that is sealed above. And yet it awoke the passion of the eye's desire. And it even compelled belief on the enamored thought. The enamored thought here is a thought filled or inflamed with love, captivated, enamored thought. And drew the heart, but led it to no goal. Interesting, huh? So we see here all of these things, these marvels of this wonderland, but it's twilight, and this surge of fanciful realities and these dim tokens of a splendor that's sealed way above them, but still it awoke the passion of the eye's desire and compelled belief on the enamored thought, and drew the heart, but led it to no goal. Carry on.
A magic flowed as if of moving scenes.
No, I would say a magic flowed as if of moving scenes. See, don't run it together.
A magic flowed as if of moving scenes that kept awhile their fugitive delicacy of sparing lines limoned by an abstract art in a rare scanted light with faint dream brush on a silver background of incertitude.
Oh, a lot to talk about here. Okay. This magic flowed as of moving scenes. We can feel it like a cinema where there's something projected on a screen and it's a moving scene. And that kept a while. It's fugitive delicacy. Fugitive, of course, is fleeing delicacy. Someone is fugitive. A fugitive is someone who's running from something. Of sparing lines, and now the word is limbed.
Limbed.
Limbed is like a painting or a drawing that's depicting something. So it was limbed with subtle colors, or it was limbed with abstract art. So it's sort of depicted by or as a painting or drawing. So these sparing lines are limbed by an abstract art. In a rare scanted light with faint dream brush. Now you see how Sriyar brings in this idea of art in these two lines, or even three. Sparing lines, limbed by an abstract art, faint dream brush in a rare scanted. Scanted is made limited, stinted. Scanted is stinted or made limited. In a rare scanted light with faint dream brush. And what is it painted on? On a silver background of incertitude. Wow. We can go some more.
An infant glow of heavens near to morn, a fire intense, conceived but never lit, caressed the air with ardent hints of day.
Okay. It's an infant glow of heavens, no doubt, but just an infant glow. Near to morning, yes, and it's a fire that was conceived as intense but never lit. And it caressed the air with ardent hints of day. Ardent, of course, is, in this case, I would say burning or fiery, fervent, even fervent.
Yeah.
So we have an infant glow, we have a fire intense, and we have ardent hints of day. Three things just so packed into 3 lines. Now he's going to continue.
The perfect longing for imperfection's charm, the illumined caught by the snare of ignorance, ethereal creatures drawn by body's lure to that region of promise, beating invisible wings, came hungry for the joy of finite life, but too divine to tread created soil and share the fate of perishable things.
Yes, okay, there was a line here. Lure, lure.
Body's lure,
No, not lure. Ur,
lure,
lure.
lure.
Yes.
Okay, lure.
So now we see that there is a perfect longing, but that longing is just for imperfection's charm. And it's the illumined, truly it's the illumined, but it's the illumined caught by the snare of ignorance. Yes. And then we see he goes on to tell us that these are ethereal creatures in this plane of existence, drawn by the lure of body. When you lure someone, what do?
You attract.
Yeah. And you lure an animal to catch them, to captivate them. So ethereal creatures drawn by body's lure. They like this idea of the body. We heard about that. They wanted to take a body, but it was either short-lived or it was so evanescent.
Mm-hmm.
To that region of promise. And they are beating invisible wings, these beings. And they came hungry for the joy of finite life. Now that's very key there, okay? Our life on earth is finite, but their life is not finite. And they are too divine to walk on our earthly soil. And therefore they would have to share the fate of perishable things. You got it?
No.
Okay.
But like they did not want to take birth into earth because they would perish.
No, they are hungry for this joy of finite life. They want it. But they're too divine, these beings, because divine beings are always fixed.
Right.
And they cannot evolve unless they take a human birth. So they're too divine to walk on created soil.
Mm.
Because then they would have to share the fate of perishable things. Death. Got it now?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now, almost finished. And then read another 4 lines.
The children of the unembodied gleam, arisen from a formless thought in the soul, and chased by an imperishable desire, traversed the field of the pursuing gaze.
Pursuing.
Pursuing gaze.
Not pursuing, but pursuing. Traverse the field of the pursuing gaze. Got it? Now, I've got to go through a few things, and first is Alok, describing for us the children of the unembodied gleam. He says they're the powers and forces of the vital world that often bear a shining countenance and
Mhm.
seem to be embodied here. Now, Amal says the line occurs in a passage describing a region of elusive realities. In this region, everything strives towards form, but never quite achieves it. Evidently, the account alludes to an aspect of the vital world.
Mhm.
And they have a long definition by Jumor. They want to enter a body, as they do not have one yet. The gleam is light. Sri Aurobindo is speaking of the early light, an infant glow of heavens near to morning. It is the beginning of a new light where all possibilities of manifestation are still just possibilities,
Mhm.
potentialities, and they are waiting to embody themselves, to manifest themselves as if a new dawn brings in new manifestations.
Mhm.
Children, because they are still not quite developed, not fully formed in themselves. It is still just a gleam.
Mhm.
See how wonderful it is
Yeah.
that we have the lexicon, and Mary Helen and I work so hard to do so many of these things. So now it's time for you to read the whole thing, and then we'll.
Narad, can AI be like the children of the unembodied gleam?
AI,
Artificial intelligence.
oh no, they don't have a consciousness.
Mm.
They don't. But this film seemed to want to point towards it.
Yeah, that it is consciousness. It's not just AI.
Okay.
Interesting. That's why I asked that question. Anyway. A charm drew near that could not keep its spell, an eager power that could not find its way, a chance that chose a strange arithmetic, but could not bind with it the forms it made, a multitude that could not guard its sum, which less than zero grew, and more than one. Arriving at a large and shadowy sense that cared not to define its fleeting drift, life labored in a strange and mythic air, denuded of her sweet, magnificent suns. In worlds imagined, never yet made true, a lingering glimmer on creation's verge, one strayed and dreamed and never stopped to achieve. To achieve would have destroyed that magic space, the marvels of a twilit wonderland, full of a beauty strangely, vainly made, a surge of fanciful realities, dim tokens of a splendor sealed above, awoke the passion of the eye's desire, compelled belief on the enamored thought, and drew the heart, but led it to no goal. A magic flowed as if of moving scenes that kept awhile their fugitive delicacy, of sparing lines limned by an
Lind, Lind,
right of of
go
of
ahead.
sparing lines limned by an abstract art, in a rare scanted light with faint dream brush, on a silver background of incertitude, an infant glow of heavens near to morn, a fire intense, conceived but never lit, caressed the air with ardent hints of day, the perfect longing for imperfection's charm, the illumined caught by the snare of ignorance, ethereal creatures drawn by body's lure to that region of promise beating invisible wings, came hungry for the joy of finite life, but too divine to tread created soil and share the fate of perishable things. The children of the unembodied gleam, arisen from a formless thought in the soul, and chased by an imperishable desire, traversed the field of the pursuing pursuing gaze.
Okay, only two mistakes. Lure, lure, not lure, lure,
Or
and twilight, not twilit.
twilight, right? Twilight.
I have to go, it's time.